And today I'm just continuing really walking down this road of exploring productivity and I guess living our life wisely, counting our days, understanding the preciousness of time and looking for ways in which we can better looking for ways in which we can better utilize our time and be more fruitful. And I was reminded, well, it wasn't, yesterday I was listening to some teaching by a guy called Jim Rohn. You may have heard of him before. He was one of the kind of granddaddies of the whole motivational speaking realm, Jim Rohn, and he said this. He said, "You can be online, but off track." And that just really struck me as something that's so true today. We can be online, but off track. We can be out there, like in the world of this huge online world that we're now part of. But although we are online, we can be way off track. And he related another story kind of in tandem with this about a friend of his who was prone to watching a lot of TV. And for the sake of this, let's call the friend Mark. And Jim went to Mark's house and saw the TV there. He knew that his friend was very fond of watching the box, and he asked him what the TV cost, and the friend said, it cost me $400. Now, it was one of these big widescreen type TVs, and I believe this was quite a number of years ago, so it would have been like a prime piece of technology. And he said, I got it for a bargain. It only cost me $400. And Jim Rohn said, well, I'm sure you're wrong there. And the friend insisted, no, I got it for $400. But Jim pointed out another perspective on this that I thought was really powerful. And he told his friend that he wasn't referring to the cost of ownership, he was referring to the cost of use. And taking Mark's talents and aptitude into account, the time that he took in front of the box, rather than pursuing other wealth-creating activities, was probably costing him about $40,000 a year. And a big difference between $400 cost of ownership and $40,000 cost of use. And this whole concept of cost of ownership versus cost of use, that the privileges that we have and how we are responsible to steward those privileges wisely. Technology is a real blessing, but it can also be a bit of a curse, can't it? We can get caught up really just in this swirl. Our time can be sucked into this whirlpool of online activity, but all of that online can take us way off track if we're not careful. I'm always a real advocate of being first a creator before we're a consumer, or really maybe not first or second, but just having a creative life as opposed to being on the other side of that transaction and just purely being a consumer. Because we're all created in the image of God. We're all made like our Father in heaven, and our natural stroke supernatural way of operating is one of creation and multiplication and expansion as opposed to consumption. But really things have conspired, particularly in our generation, to draw us into a place where we are constantly consuming, and it actually depletes and drains our ability to create, both in time, but also in capacity, because, we actually, you do need room to create. There is an absolute war on for your attention. And the question, I guess, is, are you winning or are you losing? There's an interesting verse in Ephesians chapter 2, verse 2, where the devil is named, or he's referred to as the prince of the power of the air. And it really is no surprise that he is so keen to take hold and possess the airwaves, because he understands how powerful they are to take and hijack people's attention. Now, one of the ways in which I've kind of wielded my sword in this battle, this with technology, and had the benefits and blessings versus kind of the detriments that it can sometimes bring, is to give some consideration to my inbox, my email inbox. I'm not a big social media type person, to be honest. I don't really spend a lot of time, probably more than I should if I'm honest, but I don't spend a lot of time scrolling down feeds on Facebook or Instagram or anywhere like that. But email can kind of is like my siren call. Do you know what I mean? If something pings and I think an email has come in, I find it very difficult to not just check. And it's been said that people can check their phones or their devices 150 or more times every single day. You know, that little dopamine hit that you get when something buzzes or pings or vibrates can just keep us like Pavlov's dogs, you know, just like the little bell rings and we come running. And really, we need to be very bold and very intentional in how we deal with whatever our online addictions may be. Those things that take us off track, those things that very easily steal our attention or divert us from more productive activities. We really need to be quite intentional how we deal with them. And one of the ways in which I have sought to do this, and probably need to kind of swing back around and do again, is to give some consideration to my inbox and what I'm allowing through the door of my inbox. I find it's very easy to be subscribed to multiple newsletters, multiple, various subscriptions where you've either kind of signed up for a course, or you've purchased a product, or you've signed up for a free PDF or whatever else it may be. And then you just end up kind of in multiple auto response sequences that can just absolutely flood your inbox. And of course, unsubscribing, like that click that link at the bottom of most of these emails, if they're honest, to unsubscribe is one of the most beautiful pieces of real estate when it comes to your attention and productivity. And we should often, I think, come in, give consideration to what is filling our inbox, and rather than being kind of distracted, even if it's just by the ping of it dropping into your email, even if it's not the time it takes to read through them, it's good practice, I think, to regularly come and to cull our intake and cull what we're consuming through our email. I've used a couple of services to help me with this, or obviously you can do it manually, but there's a free service called Unroll Me, UROLL.me. Which can kind of en masse just like remove you from a heap of lists. I had a friend who was subscribed, she discovered, to 118 different LinkedIn subscriptions. And she was able to unroll herself from all of those just in a few clicks. I actually use a service that I purchased like a number of years ago called Clean.email. And that's like quite a full-fledged service that allows you to do all sorts of great things to kind of rapidly take charge of your inbox and just help you get back to a place where it's more manageable. And so, like my question today is, how is your email garden looking, and does it need a mow? Do you need to pull the mower out and shave some of those subscriptions off that are no longer serving you? Now, obviously, you're going to find some that are just like you just simply don't want them. It really is spam. The difficult ones are the ones that you would consider to be good, the ones that you consider to be useful or helpful, the ones that you kind of you stay on the list in the kind of expectation that one day maybe you will read them. But in actuality, you don't. In actuality, they're just kind of crowding, again, that mental space and bandwidth that you have to operate creatively. And so I would encourage you not just to kind of unsubscribe from, just the transactional emails that you might get from some big corporation, but also to give careful consideration. I mean, obviously, stay on the lists that are serving you, stay on the lists that are helping you and honestly adding value to you. But don't think twice about where something has kind of lived out its usefulness for you. The best thing you can do is to just say, okay, I'm going to trust God to bring to me what I need when I need it. And I'm not going to have all of these. I'm going to stay on this list just in case. Because really that just in case is costing you every time your attention is diverted by an email that you no longer really read, if you're honest about it. So yeah, today's productivity tip and recommendation is that you go with axe in hand to your inbox and unsubscribe from as many email lists as you possibly can.